Okay, there we go. Hi guys. Okay, so about this blog. So I didn't record myself reading the first half of the book because I hadn't decided if I was gonna record it or not. Like I've really been trying to get back into reading, and so I've just been reading and not recording anything at all. But you're in the corner of my shot. I just drew in this tiny square. Anyways, I'm leaving it there too. I'm not editing that out. I actually think it's kind of funny. But anyways. So I did end up wanting to kind of like finish a blog about what I'm currently reading. Ooh, you can see like the light there, but this is the book I'm currently reading. I'm trying to figure out how to get this into the camera without the light. And it's not even focusing. It is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. So I got a Kindle back in the fall to fall in love back again with reading. The reason why I got it was because why was it that I got this? Because I purchased the Pomegranate book by Stephanie Meyer, the Edward version of the Twilight book, and it's yay big. It's like so thick. So I was trying to read that before going to sleep, and then I've just gone into like this rabbit hole of like Kindle books and Kindle reading. I haven't touched a physical book in a very long time. I've just been reading Kindles. So I watch a lot of Kindle and like book talk content, and I decided to make my own. So let's talk about the actual book. I am loving the book so far. It's not my type of reading, so it has surprised me a lot that I like it. It's kind of mysterious, and I don't want to give too much away. Actually, fuck that. Spoiler alert for the rest of the book video. So far we have the main character is kind of left in this creepy mansion house situation that her grandmother left for her, and her mother not for her mother told her not to live there, and she said, fuck it, I'm a grown-ass adult, I'm gonna live in this house. So she's living in this house, and there's a lot of mysterious stuff going on. And then comes in the male character, and it looks like she found these letters by her grandmother her grandmother's mother, Gigi, who happened to be murdered back in the day in the 50s. And by her finding those letters, she found like evidence of possibly who did it. So it's kind of like this like murder mystery storyline so far. Again, I haven't finished the book, so this is kind of like the vibe that I'm getting. And as she's reading these letters by her great-grandmother, which just so happened to come up in the book, there's kind of someone stalking her in this old house. Mind you, she just moved in. And some of the things that are happening to her like correlate with the letters that she's reading from the 50s. So I've never read anything like this. I don't tend to read mystery or horror. I read a lot of fantasy, fiction, poetry, dark romances, paranormal stuff. I just think they're fun. So yeah, I'm enjoying the book so far, and I'm currently at oh my god, I'm at a really spicy part. This is what made me bring out the camera, is because it's so spicy. So I am currently 54% into the book. I have 4 hours left to finish the book. I don't think I'll be able to finish it tonight, but we'll see what happens. And it's telling me I'm 10 minutes left into the chapter, and it's currently 7 p.m. So I am in chapter 23. There's like this gala event that she has to go to, and she comes across her stalker, right? Paint the scene. She comes across her stalker, and she is a very frustrating character. So she's like, oh my god, no, he's bad, he's a horrible person. But also, when your enemy comes around, I guess I should suggest for us to go into this ball, so I can get information from this like bad guy about the murder of her grandma. So she's going in to be nosy, and he asks her. He takes her hand, and he's thinking, what is it? Just trying to picture what ring would look best on your finger. So I literally highlighted and everything. Probably can't see it, but I highlighted it because it's a really interesting dynamic of this guy who is stalking her is also like a hacker that like protects and save other people, but he's being bad with her, but he saves like victims of trafficking and stuff. So it's a very like gray area character of he does really good for other people. So why is he being so weird with her? Because he wants her. But I don't know, it's a great character. I can't tell if I like him or not just yet. I don't know. I do find her annoying, and then I find him hot. And so once he tells her that, she's like, I'm gonna say no, blah blah blah, because you're mean and you're a bad guy. And then his response to her is, I can put a collar around that pretty neck of yours instead. Then you wouldn't have the option to say no. You would just be my good little girl that does whatever your master says. Would you like that better, baby? And I don't know. That's hot. I feel like there's something missing in their dynamic. You know when you can just tell? I'm like, I feel like you guys have known each other for 2 days. 3 maybe. And then a lot of people have died. I don't know. Okay, so earlier I didn't know how to describe the character when I said that she was kind of annoying. And I didn't mean annoying necessarily, maybe annoying to me, but she's indecisive. And even though the romantic interest is kind of like a gray area character with his morals and like his job description, she is very like wishy-washy about wanting him or not. And this is what I mean by that. So I'm quoting, I'm still in chapter 3, I'm in 55%, so I haven't moved much. But they're on the way to the event, and she thinks, I want to slap him, but the asshole would probably like it, and then turn around and slap me back, and my dumbass self would probably like it too. I'm fucked in the head. And then she's like, dealing with this man, this just can't be good for my skin, because she's stressed or whatever. And then when we go back to, I'm going back a couple pages, but describing what he does is, I hack into the government and military databases and expose crimes against humanity. I also take things a bit more personal and infiltrate the lives of officials who have proven themselves to be corrupt or evil. So that's basically what he does, which is why I say he's a little bit of a gray character to me, because it's like, oh, he's trying to do good in the world. How can you work to save women while actively stalking another? I've never stalked anyone outside of you before. And this is when it goes back to like the whole slapping thing. So I think I have a lot of feelings about the characters, but even though I'm halfway through the book, I feel like I don't know the characters that well. Like it took 50% for him to describe what he does for work. The first half of the book, he's more like, it's more insinuating that he's like taking these people into this torture room, but there's a lot of insinuation, not them like straight up saying what it is. So I think this is the author's way to like build tension or pace the book. But I feel like the romance is going really fast because he's stalking her, but the actual storyline of the plot of like the events and like the investigation stuff is going really slow. So I think that's kind of messing me up as I read the book. Is these two are going so fast, but this girl like just got her great grandma's letters like 3 days ago. So like, what's going on? Okay, something that I really enjoy about the story and that I haven't really seen in any other books is that, again, the light might like flicker a little bit, but when you're reading the letters from her great grandmother, like it's an actual letter on the Kindle, I don't know if on the book, like if you're reading from the book, if it's a whole page that you're like flipping through, but I do think that it's really interesting that you, at the end of every chapter, there's like a letter from the great grandma, and then I go on to the next and it continues the book. So I think that's actually really cool. Okay, so just to kind of catch you guys up, I read 10% more. So I'm currently at 65% of the book. I think I've made it my goal to kind of get to 75%, give you guys an update, and then get to 100 and let you know what I think about the book. Right now, a lot has happened in the storyline. She went to this event with the bad guy. She got information about her great-grandmother's crime that she's investigating, and some sexy stuff happened with the main romance guy. I really like the story so far. Like, I think the true crime cold case situation is really interesting to me. The more she kind of had like her mind set on like, oh, like the dude that was stalking her grandma killed her, and I was like, no, it could have been her husband found out about the cheating and killed her. And then on top of that, there's this bubbling relationship with the stalker. He's like, he put security on her after they left the party because a lot of stuff happened, and as she's communicating with him, he's looking at her outside. I'm actually gonna top back so I can get to that part. He opens the door from the balcony, smoke blowing from his mouth, and she had asked him, how long have you been out there, you creep? A while. And I was reading that and it was giving me Twilight vibes, like so fucking hard. I'm like, what is it? Have you been 17? A while. It's almost kind of giving that same vibe while you're reading it. And then as they're talking and whatever, she says, I still hate you, but I want you to lay down with me, Sade. No. I still hate you, I mumble, and the lie tastes chalky on my tongue, but I want you to lay down with me. So I think like she's warming up to the stalker, but I still have a hard time figuring out if they're very hot together, but romantically, like, it's still not there for me. I hate you, but lay down with me. Like, it's not an enemies to lovers. Like, I guess I'll like stand your presence in this room, and like I'm like, I want something more fiery, but it's still like developing, so we'll see what happens. And then as of right now, I do want to make the point that I feel like the story is like a 3.5 out of 5. And the only reason why it hasn't reached a 4 for me is because of that relationship between them feels like it's missing something for me. But I love, like I mentioned, I love the plot and I love like the murder stuff. So I think I just wish they had more like things that they bonded over. I don't know. There's something missing there for me. But yeah, I'll be back when I'm at 75%. Okay, I'm gonna take a brief pause just to show you guys my cat. This is Moon. I can't hold well the camera right now, as y'all can tell. But my ring light just fell. It's fine. Hi, puppy. Oh, so her follow-up is, you don't own me and you never will. Oh. You see, Addie gets on my nerves because she's like, no. And then proceeds to do exactly what he asked, he would probably ask without asking. But I can't tell, like the line of consent is very, very blurry for me. Like, I don't feel the tension between them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like they're attracted to each other. They're just kind of, like, forced to perform together. That's what it almost feels like. So she tells him that she hates him. She's like, get in bed with me, and now she's asking him to kiss her. So I don't know, she's a character that I'm like, how are you gonna say no but yes? I don't know. I think the author wants to like give this sense that she's playing hard to get, but it's not landing. It's like a little whiny when you're reading it, or like that's how it feels to me. Okay, hi guys. Don't mind my hair looking absolutely wild. It's like I'm on my 3rd day curls, so I can't control them anymore. Okay, we left up at 75% of the book. I wasn't able to read, that was 2 days ago. I wasn't able to read yesterday because of a snowstorm. Now it's like 7 in the morning and I'm gonna read a little bit before work. So I'm gonna get to reading, and then I'm gonna make coffee, get to reading, and I'm hoping to get to 90%. I don't know if I'll be able to do it though in the morning. We'll see what we do. Okay, so even though I was trying to get to 95 in the morning, I read for an hour, but I only got to 82%. So it was a long day at work doing my regular 9 to 5 stuff. So now I am basically, my goal is to get to 90 to 95, and let's see how far I get. So we have one of the girls he rescued is like, would you be my daddy if I can't find my parents? And she's 5, which is so creepy and like disgusting that she was brought into that scenario. But also he's like, what if we adopt? And I'm like, I don't know if you'd be a good parent. I don't know if this is what you want to do, bro, but that's you. Aww, so chapter 40 no longer has like the grandmother's letters, obviously, because she already technically found who killed her, but it's still like, it was like a nice little piece that you get at the end of every chapter. So I'm like, oh. Okay guys, so I lied, I made it a little bit further down the book. So right now, I hope this focuses and it shows it. But actually I forget, it's like, yeah, it's not focusing. Okay, whatever. But I'm at 95% at 11 p.m. and I have to wake up early tomorrow, so I'm hoping I can just cross that 5%. I don't know how to feel right now because I feel like I've had a lot of character development. The character development that I was waiting for in the middle of the book, I'm getting now, and I kind of feel like now that the main character is accepting who she is and that she actually likes this person, the relationship between them flows a little better. But it's also on the very thin line of consent. You know what I mean? So it feels right, but it feels wrong. And I think that's the whole topic of this book, to be honest. I think it's kind of like an observation of what we think is right and wrong, because you have this person doing the right thing but also the wrong thing, and like this is, anyways. And I like the recent character development, but it almost feels like it's escalating a little bit. So I don't know if the author is going to have a second book. I'm assuming they are, because it's leaving us in a very big cliffhanger so far. He rescued a child, but there's there's a lot of unresolved, like the ring hasn't been resolved. The investigation that she's been doing about her great-grandmother hasn't been resolved. So I don't know how much she can pack into that last 5%, but I don't think it's that much. So there's probably a second book. And then I'll go from 95 to, I'm just gonna finish the book now, and then I'll probably kind of just give you guys my last thoughts. I'm very clear on what my thoughts are about this book already, so I'll be right back. I finished it. So it's currently 11:29, so I was able to finish it pretty quickly. I love it when you finish a book on the Kindle and it says read, and I'm like, yes, accomplished. But wow, oh wow, this book did leave me on a cliffhanger, so I'm a little frustrated with the ending. You kind of know where it's going, but not really. So really like this book, not for the reasons that I usually like books, which is crazy for me. So I'm like, I'll give this book like a 3.4 out of 10. I would even say a 3.5, but I'll keep it at a 3.4. It's a very simple story. It would get boring at times. It was just like a lot of description of stuff that could be said in less words. It's like I already had the vision of what was happening, and then more description, more description, more description. I was like, okay. So there was a couple pages that were supposed to be like exciting plots between the main character and the guy, and I was just like, I'm already tired of this. This is boring. Get me to the like next investigation or like thing. So that's something that's really interesting, because I always appreciate a good smut book, and this is definitely a good smut book. But the complexity between her and the character was so distracting, between like the whole consent thing, that I couldn't enjoy properly like the smut. So smut, I would definitely say it's high up there for me. It's like a 4.6. The description is very detailed. It definitely dark smut, I guess. Definitely a lot of trigger warnings for this book. I don't even know what they all are. I obviously read it without reading any trigger warnings, but if you're interested in something like this, do your research and check the trigger warnings, because it was kind of like some parts just made me feel icky, so I couldn't enjoy the book. But yeah, and then so the story in itself, I would give it a 3.4 out of 5, and then the smut definitely gets like a 4.6, a 4.6 or a 4.7. It has a good smut in the story building. You have her point of view and his point of view, which are different, and he's doing like this whole work, his whole work while she's doing the case investigation. The ending is interesting, because I was just complaining about the fact that there wasn't a letter from the great-grandma, because she technically solved the crime, but I lied, because there's one at the end that hints to what's coming. So I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I loved the, not the cliffhanger, like, but the surprise plots, because every time I thought I knew what was happening, it was just like it kept switching like right and left. I couldn't keep up with the book, but that's what I like about it. It's just so different, and it's entertaining. I finished it in a couple days, to be honest. I think that 50% to now, I finished it in 2 days, and then that 50% I finished it in 2 days, and then before that, I think the first 50%, the first half of the book, I was reading it in the mornings and at night. So it definitely didn't even take me like 5 days to finish this book. It was good enough that it kept me coming for more, and that's very hard to do, because if I get bored halfway through the book, it takes me years sometimes to come back to a book if I just think it's gonna continue being boring, and this one was not. So I definitely recommend it. Read the trigger warnings first if it has any. It definitely has some trigger stuff that feels icky, but if you enjoy a good mystery, a good gray moral character, this book will be something different for you to enjoy. Yeah, that's all I have. Those are my thoughts on the book. Let me know below what you think I should read next. I'm like looking for more new romance titles. So if you have any suggestions, leave them below. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Okay.
But I'm also arguing to say, I don't want to speak for everybody, that he was so influential in my neighborhood growing up then that he influenced the whole kids for us as a big that he would bring like black books to school, like Python's black book, Pepper's black book. These guys, you know, from that Vernon, like